Okay, so let's get into this. Fortnite, huge game, millions playing,
Every single day.
but then, boom, zero players. Just nothing. People were losing it online.
Oh, yeah. Headlines everywhere.
Hmm.
That whole dead game talk flared up again, didn't it?
It really did. A proper internet moment.
It's kind of wild, though. Millions 1 minute, zero the next. It's not just a server hiccup. That's a full stop.
Yeah.
Makes you think.
Definitely. But look, spoiler alert, it wasn't the apocalypse for Fortnite.
Hey, thankfully not.
Turns out, back on March 29th, there was this massive technical issue, something with the Discovery tab, apparently.
That's what the reports indicated, yeah.
Yeah.
It basically jammed up matchmaking completely.
So no matches, no players. Simple as that, really. But wow, the effect it had.
Exactly. And you saw the reaction. People were, understandably, pretty frustrated
Yeah.
trying to log in and just hitting a wall.
Yeah, we saw that reflected in some news coverage and definitely on the forums.
Yeah.
The official Fortnite status account on Twitter was like, yeah, we know. Working on it.
The digital equivalent of smoke signals, basically.
And the Epic Games status page confirmed it too. Just empty. You could almost hear the digital tumbleweeds.
It just highlights how dependent these massive online worlds are, the tech underneath. If that wobbles.
The whole thing just grinds to a halt. Yeah.
And, Fortnite's had downtime before, obviously. But this felt different.
It does make you think about downtime more generally, though, doesn't it? Why do these games have to go offline?
Right. It's a necessary evil, really. Think of it like a pit stop in F1.
Okay.
The biggest reason. Major updates, new seasons, new chapters. That's a ton of new stuff.
Weapons, map changes, all that jazz.
Exactly. You can't just sprinkle that in while millions are playing. They got to integrate it properly.
Right. Okay. And then there are patches, hot fixes, like smaller tune-ups.
Precisely. Bug fixes, balancing tweaks. If a weapon's suddenly way too strong or something's broken.
Nerfing the fun stuff, basically.
Sometimes. But yeah, they need downtime to apply those fixes fairly without messing up live games.
Makes sense. And just general upkeep, server maintenance.
Yep. Keep the machines running smoothly. Prevent bigger problems later. Plus, prepping for those big live events they do takes some behind-the-scenes work.
So, yeah, it's annoying for us waiting, but it's kind of essential for the game's health long-term.
It's that trade-off. Short-term pain for long-term gain, kinda.
So what's the usual rhythm for this? Like, when do these downtimes typically happen?
Generally, the smaller weekly patches often land on Tuesday mornings, U.S. Eastern Time. That seems to be their regular slot.
Okay, Tuesday mornings. Got it.
But the big ones, the new seasons or chapters, those get announced well in advance. They're a bigger deal.
And they take longer, I assume?
Oh, yeah. And then there's the emergency stuff like that March outage. Less common, thankfully.
Right. So how long are we usually locked out for? The waiting is the worst part.
For the weekly patches, maybe, 1 to 4 hours, give or take?
Okay.
Season launches, though, could easily be 4 hours, maybe more. Lots to deploy. But honestly, always check their official Twitter or status page. Those are just estimates.
Good advice. Which brings us neatly to the next downtime. May 2nd, Galactic Battle.
Yes, the big one, Star Wars is coming back.
So May 2nd, 2 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. UTC. That's the kickoff time for the downtime.
That's the plan. They're saying maybe 4 hours, but I'd budget for 5, maybe even a bit longer. Season launches can be tricky.
Especially Star Wars themed. The hype is going to be huge.
Totally. And the leaks and rumors are flying. Blaster rifles, lightsabers definitely seem back on the menu.
Yes, lightsabers.
And the battle pass sounds wild. Poe Dameron, Palpatine, and apparently a Vader samurai skin.
Wait, Vader Samurai? Seriously? Okay, that's unexpected. I need that.
Right. And map changes too. New POIs, resistance bases, First Order outposts, something called Vader Samurai's Solitude.
Sounds ominous. And an outpost enclave? The island's getting a serious makeover.
Looks like it. Plus, new Star Wars jam tracks, Imperial March, Jabba's Palace theme, some new stuff too.
Nice. Gotta have the tunes. Any word on vehicles?
Whispers of X-Wings. Imagine dogfights over the island.
Whoa. Okay, that would be game-changing. And maybe lightsaber pickaxes, too.
Seems very likely. Gotta have the iconic gear.
So tips for players chomping at the bit to get in right after downtime.
Patience. Expect queues. Everyone's gonna rush in.
Yeah, login server's gonna melt.
Probably. Make sure your game's updated beforehand. PS5 and Xbox might let you pre-download, which is a lifesaver.
Worked out.
And, check the patch notes when they drop. See what's actually changed to get a head start.
Smart. Okay, so we've got the outage, the downtime reasons, the hype for Galactic Battle. Let's peel back the curtain a bit. The tech side. How do these servers actually work? And ping. Oh God, ping.
Ah, yes, the bane of every online gamer's existence.
We saw a great video breakdown on this, actually. It explained the basics really well.
Yeah, fundamentally, it's a client-server setup, right?
Ah.
Your console or PC is the client. You see the game, you control your character.
But the real game is running somewhere else.
Exactly. On Epic's big servers,
Yeah.
your game is sort of a slightly delayed copy communicating back and forth. That delay, that's
What?
your ping.
So when I hit play, what happens? How do I end up with 99 other people?
First, you talk to a matchmaking service, like a digital bouncer or coordinator.
Okay.
It gathers 100 players, finds an available game server, and boom, sends you all there. That server then spins up a fresh map just for your match.
And once we're in, the server is king. It decides everything.
Pretty much. It decides loot spawns, who really shot first in a close fight, who owns that wall you both tried to build. Your client just sends your inputs. I moved here, I shot now, I built this.
And the server figures out the results based on everyone's inputs.
Right. It's the single source of truth for the match.
So how does it keep track of all that chaos and keep my screen updated?
Constant communication, tiny little packets of data flying back and forth over the internet.
Like digital messages.
Exactly. That video mentioned someone used software Wireshark to actually watch this traffic.
Oh, cool. What did they find?
Their game was sending maybe 50 packets per second to the server and getting about 30 back. More when things got busy, like in a fight.
Wow, that's a lot of chatter.
It is. And that brings us back to ping, or latency.
The round trip time for those packets?
Yep. Your packet goes to the server does its thing, sends a reply back. The time that takes in milliseconds is your ping.
And that video said 0 ping in the game isn't really 0.
Correct. There's always some delay. Physics. Data takes time to travel, even at light speed. Plus, it bounces through routers and stuff. Each hop adds a tiny delay.
So 0 ping is like aspirational or just very, very low.
Basically, yeah. Too low to notice easily.
So distance matters most then. Closer to the server, lower ping.
Generally, yes. Geography plays a big part. Less distance, less travel time.
Makes sense. What else affects it?
Network congestion is huge. Think of it like internet traffic jams. Too many people using the line in your house or even in your neighborhood.
Slows everything down.
Exactly. Your ISP's quality matters too, how they route your traffic.
Okay. The video mentions something called client-side prediction. My game guessing what happens?
Sort of, yeah. It's a trick to make things feel smoother. When you press sprint, your character starts running instantly on your screen. Your client predicts that the server will agree, but the server still has the final say. If there's a lag spike, or the server disagrees for some reason.
Then what I see isn't what actually happened.
Correct. That's why sometimes you swear you hit someone, but the server says, nope, they already moved. The server's reality overrides your client's prediction.
Okay. That explains so much frustration.
Doesn't it just?
And there's something about a replication graph to stop servers melting down.
Yeah, that's clever tech in Unreal Engine.
Yeah.
Basically, the server doesn't need to tell everyone about everything happening on the entire map all the time.
That would be insane.
Right. So the replication graph helps the server prioritize. It mainly tells you about stuff happening near you. Like, it only sends updates relevant to your little bubble on the map.
Smart. Keeps the data flow manageable.
Hugely important for a 100-player game.
The video also suggested the servers run at about 30 hertz, 30 updates per second.
That seemed to be the observation, yeah. Which means even if your fancy gaming PC is running at 120 frames per second,
you're only getting new game state information from the server 30 times a second.
Exactly. So there's a kind of built-in limit to responsiveness dictated by the server tick rate.
Yeah.
It's a balanced developer's strike for stability across lots of players.
Interesting. Okay, another buzzword. Packet loss. What's that about?
That's when those little data packets we talked about just vanish. They get lost on the way to or from the server.
Goof. Gone. Why?
Could be lots of reasons.
Right.
Unreliable Wi-Fi is a big one.
Yeah.
Interference, microwaves, other networks.
Ugh, Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Network congestion again. Or just issues with the wider internet infrastructure. And Fortnite uses something called UDP for its traffic.
UDP.
User Datagram Protocol. It's fast, which is good for games, but it doesn't guarantee delivery. If a UDP packet gets lost, it's just lost. It doesn't automatically resend like some other types of internet traffic.
So dropped packets mean missing information, stuttering, lag spikes.
Exactly. Things jumping around, actions not registering. That's often packet loss.
Yeah.
That's why a wired Ethernet connection is almost always recommended for gaming. Much more stable.
Right. Wired is king. So for people suffering from high ping, what are the usual suspects? What do the experts like those gaming VPN folks point to?
Well, number one is often your own internet connections is slow, unstable. That's going to cause problems.
Well, obviously.
Then network congestion at home. Too many devices streaming Netflix or downloading stuff while you're trying to play.
Guilty as charged sometimes.
Distance to the server, like we said, huge factor. Sometimes the game servers themselves might just be having a bad day, overloaded, or having issues.
Can't do much about that one.
Nope. Background apps on your PC eating bandwidth. Even old routers could be a bottleneck.
Okay, so what can we actually do about it? Any fixes?
Some sources suggest using a gaming VPN or booster, claiming they find better routes to the server. YMMV on that one.
Mileage may vary, right?
Yeah, but the basics are solid.
Yeah.
Use that Ethernet cable. Seriously.
Yeah, okay, I hear you.
Close background apps. Update your router firmware. Maybe look into QoS settings on your router to prioritize game traffic.
QoS, quality of service.
Yeah, lets you tell your router that Fortnite traffic is more important than, say, someone else's download.
Handy.
Consider upgrading old network gear if it's ancient. Always pick the closest server region in the game settings. Restart your modem and router regularly, the classic IT fix.
Turn it off and on again.
It often works. Maybe try switching Wi-Fi bands on your router. If you have to use Wi-Fi, 5 gigahertz is faster but shorter range. 2.4 gigahertz is slower but goes through walls better. And apparently, disabling cosmetic streaming in Fortnite might help reduce some background data usage.
Lots of things to try then. But what if you have, like, good internet on paper, but still get bad ping in Fortnite? That's super frustrating.
It really is. Could be a few things. Maybe your ISP is throttling or shaping your traffic during peak times. Sneaky.
Yeah.
Could be wireless interference, even with good speeds. Maybe you accidentally connected to a server halfway across the world. Or maybe the game is downloading an update in the background.
So many variables. It's complicated.
It really is.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. We saw Fortnite hit 0 players crazy but temporary. We learned why downtime is actually necessary for updates, fixes, and new seasons, like the awesome-sounding Galactic Battle coming May 2nd.
With lightsabers. Don't forget the lightsabers.
Never. And we dove into the tech servers, clients, ping, packets, prediction. It's amazing it works at all, honestly.
It's a massive balancing act, keeping millions connected and playing smoothly. Server tech, network tech, everyone's individual internet. It's complex.
So here's something to think about. How do you feel about that balance? You know, needing frequent updates versus the annoyance of downtime. Where's the sweet spot for you?
That's a tough one. Constant content keeps it fresh, but nobody likes being locked out.
And now that you know a bit more about ping, latency, server tick rates, does it change how you think about your own setup? Or maybe make you a little more forgiving when you get eliminated by lag?
Maybe a little more understanding, if not forgiving. It definitely highlights how much is going on behind the scenes that's outside our control, and even the developer's direct control sometimes.
For sure. We'd love to hear your experiences with all this downtime woes, ping nightmares, maybe even solutions you found. Let us know. And definitely keep an eye on the official Fortnite status channels for updates, especially around May 2nd. The Epic Games public status page is good for a deeper look, too.